Hello everyone and welcome to my free-to-play Rares Only Plus challenge. In this series I'll be progressing through the game using champions who are rare, uncommon, or common, plus any champion who is free and permanently available to all players. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. We're on day 116, and last week, if you tuned in and saw that episode, holy moly, we summoned Drexthar Blood Twin and he has been massive. With the addition of Drexthar Blood Twin last week, if you watched that episode, you would have seen me trying to get my Fire Knight 20 team up and running. I arranged a workable team, but it was not a... It still needed some work. So this past week, I've been doing lots of work on it, and I managed to get it a little bit more consistent. This fastest time you see here, that was not with this team. That was with War Maiden instead of Bellower, and Soulbond Bowyer instead of Armiger. And while that was my fastest team, that was not my most consistent team. That team failed from time to time. So I've done a lot of tuning, changed up some builds, and I managed to get a very consistent run, and I'll go ahead and turn Super Raids on too, just to show you. That's how confident I am in this team. So basically what it took was getting Bellower into a stun set, which at the time of the recording last week, I didn't have enough good stun pieces to make it work. But I pulled a really nice pair of gloves for Bellower, and with that I had good enough pieces to make the set work, in terms of getting him to 100% crit rate, over 200 speed, and enough accuracy to land his debuffs. So that's kind of really all I was going for, and I managed to pull it off, so why not? With the extra stuns, in addition to the regular crowd control that Bellower brings in the terms of AoE decreased speed, the AoE A1 block cooldown skills, alongside Drexthar's AoE provoke, the two of those, like all that stuff combined, it's enough to make this a consistent run. So, yeah, and I reset Bellower's masteries several times, and it's just, yeah, so that's where a lot of my gems went this week, trying to get the masteries down. Because at first I took Fearsome Presence for the extra 5% chance to stun with the sunset, but then when I went to go do farm campaign without the offense tree masteries, he wasn't doing enough damage to be a 7-second farmer anymore, and I had already tasted the sweet life of having a 7-second farmer on my account. So I got frustrated and I redid his masteries, and then I was struggling on Spider 20 on stream over the weekend, so I decided to reset his masteries again to pick up Fearsome Presence, just to give Drexthar a little bit more breathing room while he's tanking all the Spiderlings. And while that team is fairly consistent, it's still not 100%, so I'm going to keep working on my Spider team, and I'll show you that next. Because Drexthar is just crazy how big a difference that he's made in not only my dungeon teams, but in terms of Doom Tower as well. And I'll show you everywhere that I've been using him so far. And then for the boss, Drexthar's A1 is really good at helping get that shield down, so Armiger can come in, start controlling the turn meter, decreased defense goes up, and from here it's buttery smooth. It's pretty much, yeah, it's if I can make it through the waves, then the boss is no problem. And because of the stun set on Bellower, I can almost always make it through the waves. It's really, really good. Bam. 3.5 minutes, not bad. And now let's take a look at that Spider team. This I'm not confident enough to turn Super Raids on, because I've seen it fail a few times. And I was experimenting with different things. I think Bellower is still the best option. So if you don't have Drexthar Blood Twin on your account, or another AoE HP burn champion, you should seriously consider trying to acquire Drexthar Blood Twin fragments. Not a single stun went out there from Bellower. That's kind of depressing. He got a few on that one though. That's good. But because he's weak affinity, the aggro from all the Spiderlings goes straight into Drexthar. And because of his passive, whenever they attack him, he's got like a 60% chance to place an HP burn on his passive on all the Spiderlings. And then when the Spiderlings take their turn, they will do big damage to the big boss. I think it's like 166,000 damage in HP burn damage to the boss. Yeah, 166,655. You can see it pop up over and over again every time a little spider underburn takes a turn. So I think if I can get a little bit more resistance built on Drexthar, so he's resisting some of those, or most of the poisons, that would be a really good place to start. But I just don't have the Great Hall to accommodate that at the moment, or the gear. So Coldheart does become the tank in Drexthar. See, it's obviously not ideal, and it's very RNG dependent on whether or not Bellower gets enough stuns, unfortunately. But I can do it occasionally. If I was in a rush to complete the Arbiter mission, I could just keep doing, like, I've succeeded with this team more than I've failed with this team. And I think you have to do it 10 times on auto to get Arbiter, so it's consistent enough that I could get the team together, but obviously it's not perfect and it's going to need a little bit of work. Another place that Yakarl the Scourge thrives in is Spider 20. Yakarl the Scourge, his A2 steals 100% turn meter from the target. So if the spider's at like 100% turn meter, their turn meter gets dropped to 0, and then he gains that turn meter for himself. So he will fully deplete the turn meter and then gain 100% turn meter if they're at 100% turn meter. He also places the big version of decreased speed when he does this. And then he can go right back into his A3 and freeze all the spiderlings. So he's just really, really, really good at Spider. And Fire Knight. He could actually solo the Fire Knight 20's turn meter if you get him to like 200 speed. He's going to be huge on this account. And we're getting very close to collecting him as well. 30 fragments shy of Yakarl the Scourge. So that's where we're at there. He's going to be massive. But let me show you Doom Tower real quick. So going back to Bellower and a stun set. Last week I mentioned I was hard stuck on this floor of Doom Tower. These Cupidus with their counterattacks were just messing me up. Let's see if it took me a couple tries, but eventually I got a run going where Bellower stunned both Cupiduses right out the gate, so we weren't getting counterattacked to death. I'll give him one now. Okay. This is actually how I did it the first time around. I was like, alright, did I get stuns on Cupidus? No? Alright, let's try it again. See if we can get stuns on Cupidus. We stunned both of them. Yeah, that's all I did. I just reset it until I got a run where both Cupiduses were stunned. Should probably try to focus the Cupiduses down, actually. I'll attack someone who's not Cupidus so they don't get counterattacked. Yeah, but stun set Bellower made all the difference here. It doesn't matter if we get a couple little counterattacks, it's not that big a deal. It's just when you're getting smashed over and over constantly that it becomes an issue. Yeah, so you get the idea. So Bellower in the stun set got us through that wave. And then Drexthar, normally you're not supposed to use an HP burn champion on the Magma Dragon, because when you place HP burns on the Magma Dragon, he will instantly cleanse them and replace them with a 15% continuous heal. But because I had Coldheart to place the heal reduction on her A1, it wasn't an issue. So I was able to use Drexthar to provoke the Magma Dragon, so the boss attacks him, and Coldheart's heal reduction was able to prevent the Magma Dragon from healing, and then I was able to also use her Heartseeker for big damage as well. So Drexthar was pretty good there. Not the most ideal option, but it was an option, and it worked. And here, same thing, like, just keeping Drexthar alive with the Reliquary Tenders is all you needed to do. Like, Spiderlings on the side will attack Drexthar, get HP burns placed upon themselves, and then when they take turns, they burn the boss. Same as, like, Spider 20, same concept. So his passive burns were huge there. Unfortunately, I'm stuck here now. I can't seem to beat this boss. I don't think my gear's quite good enough. I just can't kill the side ads before the boss just starts going crazy and doubling his damage and killing me. So, but we still made huge progress. The last time I was on this rotation, last time this rotation came around, we were stuck on the third boss. I could not beat this boss's Nether Spider. So to go from the third boss to the 12th boss, that's not bad. And also, I could finally farm the Celestial Griffin. So Drexthar has enabled me to farm more Guardian Set gear, which has been Guardian Set has been massive on my account. It has really allowed me to progress in areas where I would not have been able to do so otherwise. And just by having a 1-star blessing on Drexthar, that Brimstone just does like 100,000 damage. So if it's kind of RNG dependent, because if the Brimstone goes up on the boss after he's used both of their cooldown skills, then it doesn't do much. But if he can get it on the first hit, then it's really good, because then both durations of Brimstone will deal damage to the boss, and it's very good in that situation. Also, you'll notice I have Frozen Banshee not Frozen Banshee, Gravechill Killer on the team. I turned off her A2 and her A3, so she's only ever using her A1. And the reason I've decided to do this is because with her A1, there's the Brimstone. It's gonna, and the poison. So watch the damage, 111,000 damage from the Brimstone. The reason I set Gravechill Killer to only use her A1 is because the poisons only go on for 1 turn, which means when the Griffin takes their turn, the duration will tick down, the poisons will deal its damage, and they will disappear before the Griffin can transfer them onto my team. So I'm getting about an extra 8,000 damage a turn every time Gravechill places one of those poisons. So it's just a nice bit of free extra damage that, doesn't come back to my team. And it just adds up over the course of the fight. So between Drexthar and this new strategy with Gravechill Killer of only using her A1, I've been able to farm this very consistently. If I do all 15 Doom Tower keys, or however many, 15 keys, and hit auto, sometimes I fail 1 or 2 runs, and I'll just have to redo them. So it's really not, it's been so much better. But the huge damage from the Brimstones that you see there have made a massive difference. And the passive of Drexthar. The Griffin will transfer the debuffs from themselves onto my team, and then when they attack, Drexthar's passive will refresh another HP burn on the Griffin. So it's really nice. Like right there. Yeah, so Drexthar has been utterly monstrous for this account. Also, Champion Training Event. I finished it today, picked up the Legendary Book. So even though we just fully booked Drexthar, I'm still at like 26. So I'll have enough for Yakarl and Sylve the Drakes when we get them. So that's huge. You see right here, my most recent 6-star Master Butcher. I am preparing for Bommel. The Doom Tower rotation that contains Bommel is coming next in a couple days. 6 days, 7 hours. So I 6-starred that Master Butcher, and I have another one right here that I can 6-star if I need to. So if I need a second one, I will absolutely build a second one. And I might just go ahead and do it anyway, because even if I can beat like the 5th boss when Bommel comes up, I think he's the 5th boss, he comes up again later. So I just don't want to get stuck, because if I can beat Bommel, then I can farm a higher level of Griffin and get better Guardian Set gear. That's really all I care about from Doom Towers. Guardian Set, Guardian Set, Guardian Set. My entire clan boss team, aside from Haikatun, is in Guardian. I've even got War Maiden and Guardian too for dungeons. It just helps whenever anyone gets hit, it just soaks damage away from them. It's really nice. Also, I pulled some shards with my daughter, and I pulled a few legendaries during CVC. I got White Queen Ancora and Killing the Lucky. I'll probably be using them as 5-star chickens. I haven't decided yet. But also, I pulled one of the epics required for the Lady Mikage fusion. So that's nice. Oh, another one here too. So I've got 3 total. And the 3 that I have all happen to go into the same legendary here. It's these 3. So I'm just missing Edna Moonbeam. and then I can fuse this legendary. I still haven't decided. Okay, so Kira the Watcher. I'm actually more interested in Kira the Watcher than I am Lady Mikage for Clan Boss, because she does ally protection and increased defense for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. She also does decreased attack on her A1, making her a great Demon Lord Clan Boss champion, and a passive that reapplies decreased attack. So she's crazy good base stats too. Like, she's just really good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any of the epics for her yet though. But man, I actually like her more than Lady Mikage. But in other news, I'm up to 5 fragments for High Mother Mod, who is also going to likely make it onto my Clan Boss team. I got 13 chests after converting my Ostrid fragments into chests. So let's open these here. We got another fragment. Nice. So we're up to 6. 6 fragments for High Mother Mod. We'll have her in no time, guys. Surely. Yeah, so that's going about as well as it could, I guess. Faction Crypts. Barbarians, I made it to level 19. So it's basically already done. So once I get Yakarl the Scourge, it's basically over at that point. Like, there's no way I'm not gonna just finish Barbarians. So yeah, it's just gonna be a cakewalk. Also Scylla the Drakes. So between the 2 of them, there's no way I don't finish it. So another place I'm using Drexthar is Ice Golem. So my goal for Ice Golem has been to build a team in which everybody on the team, or sorry, nobody on the team, has War Master or Giant Slayer. The reason this is because of this Frigid Vengeance passive right here. Attacks all enemies one time whenever his HP drops below 80%, 60, 45, 30, and 15%. If his HP drops over these thresholds through damage from HP burn, poison, or brimstone, this Frigid Vengeance passive will not proc, and he will not revive his allies. Also, if his allies are still alive and he gets pushed over these and does this attack, the attack ignores 100% defense. So that makes Ice Golem a particularly dangerous dungeon to run. No one on this team has War Master. This was extremely deliberate. I built this second Reliquary Tender to help me on Nether Spider, and she doesn't even have masteries. So I have not yet seen this team fail, but I've seen it succeed with like 3 people dead on the team. So it's super sketchy. The most difficult part, and the second wave is very difficult. It's a very difficult wave because of the reflect damage from the terror beasts. Because if your damage dealers aren't in lifesteal, they're probably going to kill themselves when they attack. But fortunately, Bellower is no longer in a damage build, so he's not killing himself against the terror beasts. And then my Drexthar and my Kale are each in lifesteal gear. So even though 30% of the damage they deal is being reflected at them, they're healing for 30% of the damage they deal. So the damage reflect and the lifesteal kind of cancel each other out. So between that and Reliquary Tender's heal, it's able to keep them in the net positive. And because Drexthar is the weak affinity here, he's becoming the target of most single target attacks. I don't know why Myrmidon gets attacked. He's strong affinity. His gear isn't fully leveled because his build is kind of mid. I need to redo his build, actually. The fact that both Terror Beasts there were stunned is actually really huge. Wow. Everyone was either stunned or provoked before anyone got a chance to attack. That's really strong. Yeah, that was a really good RNG there. This one Terror Beast on the left, there you go, or sorry, the right, did manage to do the reflect damage. I think we're kind of out of the danger zone at this point, especially now that they're, basically all dead. The Myrmidon has a A1 provoke too. Oh, so Myrmidon was sort of my super secret tech for this. His ally protection was also helping keep Drexthar and Bellower alive. But as these side adds attack Drexthar, his passive will place HP burn on the side adds, and when the side adds get their turn, they'll deal HP burn damage to the boss. Also, when the boss attacks Drexthar, his passive will put HP burn on the boss. So every time the boss goes, you're taking big damage from burns, and hopefully it's the damage from the poisons and the burns that are taking him below those major HP percentage thresholds. I don't have any turn meter control. The closest thing I have is the small version of decreased speed from Bellower on his A2. But I don't want to turn meter control the boss. I want the boss to take their turn so that when they do, they take damage from the burns and the poisons. And hopefully the damage from the burns and the poisons are what knock him down over the percentage. And Kale's A3 whiffed on all 4 poisons. That's kind of rough. It looks like we dodged a bullet there. We got over the 85% threshold. Now we're approaching the 60% threshold. Hopefully it's damage from poisons that gets him over the line. I think we're in the clear. Nope, there it is. Okay, so that's 60% right there. So now 45% is the next mark. And our Reviver's dead. That's not good. And our Crowd Control champion is dead. So the adds are always going to attack. This is the first time I've seen this run fail. If Drexthar hadn't provoked, we might have gotten a Brimstone activation from that side ad. Yeah, so Drexthar is very good. I just need to work on my team a little bit. Obviously, this Reliquary Tender is only level 50, and my Myrmidon isn't fully geared. We got level 12, level 12, level 12, level 12, level 12. And his build is actually just kind of bad. He's only got like 154 speed. That's why I haven't invested more silver into his gear. I just need to rebuild him, but he needs some sort of extra healing to keep himself alive if he's ally protecting. So I need to farm more Fire Knight so I can get better regen gear so I can excel in other areas as well. We're still working on Ice Golem, we're still working on Spider, but we have beaten them and we can beat them if we need to. But it's going to require a little bit more work. But hopefully, fingers crossed, once Yakarl the Scourge gets here, once he arrives in about 6 weeks, Spider will just be a breeze. Fire Knight will be a lot easier for the waves, and the turn meter control I could replace Armiger with Yakarl the Scourge, and it's just going to be a cakewalk. On the Fire Knight team, anyway. More exciting news for Drexthar. Hydra. I am very close to getting the bottom chest. For the bottom chest, we need 1.67 million. I did 1.55. I'm close enough to this that I'm going to sometime soon start allocating more resources into building proper Hydra teams. I don't know exactly when I'm going to do this because, again, I really want to make sure that I don't get hung up on the second time you face Baumel in this upcoming Doom Tower rotation, because I want to farm better Guardians that gear. But it's probably once I get Baumel sorted. I don't know if I'll be able to beat Baumel 90, but if I can beat Baumel 50, that's a good start. I'm willing to accept defeat if I get stuck on Baumel 90. I'll be perfectly satisfied with that progress. But once we get Baumel figured out, for the most part, I'm going to start working on Hydra and see if I can start pumping out fragments from Mithrala. Because her kit is just really good basically everywhere. Just such a great champion. That's what I've been up to this week. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the weekly update. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully, I will see you in another video soon. But until next time, everyone, happy raiding.